Hey everyone, how you doing? How you doing? This is a great day because we have Finn Gergens in studio, and he is, well, he's just going nuts over there. This is the Wrench Everyday Podcast, where we talk about wrenching in cars, and sometimes we go off topic for many, many minutes. My name is Freddie Hernandez, but you may know me as Tavarish if you're on the internet, and you're desperately waiting for more Lamborghini content. Joining me is my partner in crime, my co-host, Mr. Andrew Howell. How you doing today?
Hey, you know what? I'm feeling good.
Okay. A little bit of hesitation there?
I'm feeling good.
Better?
I'm feeling good.
Oh, all right. Perfect. All right. All right. So, yeah. Well, today I wanted to talk a little bit about something that I've been thinking about for a little while. Well, I started thinking about this when I saw the Rob Ferretti video, Mr. Spaghetti.
Rob Spaghetti?
Mr. YouTube Spaghetti. So he had a video talking about what makes you a car person. I wanted to talk about what makes you a car guy or girl. Now he makes the case. I mean, you guys can watch the video. I don't want to play it, word for word. So I'm just going to paraphrase it, and hopefully I don't put too many words in his mouth. Now he starts talking about you need to have a certain knowledge of cars to be a car person, to be a car enthusiast.
Like a bona fide enthusiast?
Yeah, like you need to have knowledge of cars. You need to have a basic understanding of how cars work. You need to have, maybe you don't need to turn a wrench, but like you know how to change a tire. I tend to think that the bar is a lot lower. I tend to think, and there might be some daylight between our opinions here.
Okay.
Because I think the only thing that you need in order to be a car person is to like cars. That's it. Because that's why I disagree with Rob. I think that once you start setting the bar really, really high, then it's like
it's gatekeeping.
Yeah. It's
sure.
It's like
if we want to use a Tumblr term here,
right?
That's gatekeeping.
Yeah. Are you gaslighting? Yeah. Actually, you know what? I don't actually know what gaslighting means. Do you know?
Yes.
What is it?
It means that you incept ideas into others' heads and make them start to believe it.
That's not gaslighting. That's magic. you're planting ideas and letting them grow like a little evil seed.
It's
how's
like
that gaslighting?
You're trying to convince someone that they are crazy or that they are wrong, and you make them believe that.
Right, but what if they're actually crazy or wrong?
Well, then that's not gaslighting. That's the whole point of gaslighting.
Yeah, but there's no. How are you gonna say that you're gaslighting? You're just gaslighting. Like, no, you're wrong. You're just gaslighting me. How's that? Okay, that would come from Tumblr. In any case,
yeah,
I think it's kind of moving the goalposts. I think it's keeping the barrier of entry high, especially on something that people historically like. You're not seeing a whole bunch of people interested in cars. Like you're not seeing the people interested in cars that number growing, right? You're probably seeing it diminishing, and especially in cultures like Japan, where people really don't care about cars, and a lot of people they're more concerned with getting something newer, more efficient, and just something kind of like transportation, rather than like America in the 50s or something where cars were everything, and you were hot rodding these things out, and they were relatively cheap, and people knew about them. Everybody knew how to change a tire. Well, all the men did. No, but now it's like I can't remember who made this joke, but it's like nobody knows how to change a tire. So what happens, if you're in the desert and you have a flat, like you just wait for the coyotes to eat you. So, I think that being a car person, a car guy or girl, is just you just need to like cars, because that is the catalyst for everything else. Because you can go in a bunch of different directions. Now, I'd like you to state your case before I make any rash generalizations.
Sure. So for me, okay, the whole like you can't be a car person if you don't know how to change your tire, change your oil. Like, sure, that's gaslighting. I don't feel like that needs to play into the car enthusiast label. I think that should just play into the car ownership label. I think that to own a car, you should have this basic knowledge because you spend a lot of money on it, most likely. It's probably either the first or second most expensive thing that you own.
Right.
You depend on it to live, to get anywhere A to B, from home to work to school or whatever. I feel like
Well, you might. I don't actually have anything. I don't have a work. My home is my work. It's a prison I can't leave.
it's time for you to get an office space or something.
Yeah.
So it still baffles me that people, like a lot of people, they have car problems. They blame it on their car. It's never their fault when clearly you haven't changed the oil in 35,000 miles. Like,
right.
That's a topic, a discussion for another day.
I actually do love it when people say, "Oh, this is a good car. I didn't have to do anything to it." Like,
that makes that there's a pucker factor. Like, I don't want to ride with you.
yeah. Like, that's
there is no guarantee we will make it to our destination. When was the last time you changed the oil? Do you know you have to change the oil? Do you know what oil is?
What's funny is I remember telling my parents, I'm like, "You need to get new tires." Like, how much is that going to cost? I'm like, you need to do it. Your tires are pretty bald and it's winter.
Yeah.
You need it.
I'll just get the cheapest ones. Oh, okay. I'm not riding with you or next to you.
No. I mean, it's like, how about this? I'll pick them out and then I'll get you a good deal, but I'll pick out the good ones.
Yeah.
Don't go to save a tire or whatever.
Save a tire. What kind of like that? Does that feel like that's a really bad like charity? Like
it is
every day. Thousands of tires are misused, punctured, and discarded for only 35 cents a day.
You can sponsor several times. Yeah, I mean, there are people who couldn't be bothered. Like they could learn about their cars and could learn about how to make the cars more efficient or something like that, but they just can't be bothered. Sure. It's an appliance. Like how much time do you spend on microwave maintenance? Probably zero time.
Well,
right?
There's not really. I mean, other than cleaning it,
right? But,
which is another thing that people should do with their cars. Good Lord.
Oh yes, 100%. Yeah. But if you treat them like a microwave, like how, like when you clean out your dishwasher drain or something, right? Most people don't know that you have to do that. Like you have a drain in your dishwasher, it gets stopped up with food or whatever, and you have to clean it out. There's a filter, and it's just like any other thing that gets filled up with garbage. But a lot of people don't do it, and then they have a failure, and they go, "Oh, this dishwasher is garbage. This dishwasher sucks."
And you know what? I'm gonna try and express this point without getting overly political or something, but in part, I feel like it is.
Here we go.
It's our education system. It is, and hear me out on this. Hear me out on this.
Okay.
And I have had to deal with these, this lack of knowledge coming into the real world. So, like in school, they'll teach you things like Pythagorean theorem, trigonometry. Like, why not teach me how loans work? Or how to get a credit card, or how to balance a checkbook.
There's a very good video by a YouTuber called Boy in a Band, and it's gotten a lot of press. But it's called "Don't Go to School," and he is he's a rapper, so to speak. But he has this rap. It's not like a spoken word thing, but it's a rap. Like he's a musician, and he has this. It has this rap, and he's talking about exactly what you're saying. Like, how do I know, what the, what happened in the 16th century kings and whatever, but I have no idea what my rights are. Like that's a little more important. And I think a lot of people echo this sentiment, but I'm not sure that. One doesn't. It's not like you have a finite amount of space in your brain, right? But you do have a finite amount of time that you can learn these things. And with school, it's like you have to have such a broad curriculum. Maybe that's state sponsored or whatever. Like you have to have, because that's ultimately who makes the decisions for what the curriculum is. But I'm not sure if there'd be an incentive not to teach people this, or maybe there would be. I think that you'd probably get a more prosperous society if you did teach this. But
yeah, I feel like the economy would be more it would be more broad and balanced.
Sure, but then how would you get it so the kids who do want to learn about this stuff? Because I mean, there are engineers, there are people who want to know that are interested in math and interested in all these things. You want to be a history major or something. Like, how do you differentiate? Like, you have to have a broad range so kids can be like, oh, I didn't know I liked this. So if you only go, well, we're going to be teaching life skills, and well, I'm gonna walk it back a little bit, because it could just be one class.
Yeah,
it could just be one. Like, it doesn't have to be your entire thing.
Real world 101. I don't know.
Real world. they just put you on a street corner. It's like, well, there you go. Make some money, kid. Yeah.
Go out there and chase your dreams.
Yeah, just like Ron White said, a staple of 20 to his chest and wish him the best of luck.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, no, I understand it. Do you remember? You ever had home economics?
Yes. I feel like that was on its way out. It was dying as I was taking it. Like the home ec thing. Really,
I think we're in the same sort of age range. So.
We are. We're like a year apart. So
I did not. So you're also 19. Don't look at my receding hairline, please.
Don't look at my total lack of hair or this giant beard on my face. Yeah, I'm 20. We
can remove these wrinkles in post.
No, we can't.
Yeah. So
again, that getting back to car people,
right?
I feel like, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I feel like that just like basic maintenance stuff.
So do you think that should be taught in schools? Like, here's how you change a tire.
Well, I mean, yeah, because unless you're living in like a large city where you're depending on public transportation,
mm-hmm.
you're gonna have to know how to do the thing.
So, I mean, you'd probably get some pushback from people who do live in large cities. I mean, there's a lot of the population centers, they don't necessarily need a car.
So then make that optional in certain areas.
Sure. But then so here's the thing. Life lessons, I'm not sure, are necessarily best doled out by the educational system, because the educational system is not very good at doling out information.
Yeah, no.
So I wouldn't trust, if the government-run school system or any school system, right, for them to say, here's what you're going to need in life, because then it's going to be, well, what kind of life do you want to have? Is it a life where you're constantly in debt? It's a life where you are, there's a predetermined path. Like, here's how you get into college, and then after college, you have, you get a job, you get married, you have kids, and then after that, you die. Like, do you retire at 65 or 68 or whatever? Like, is that the kind of life they're trying to push, or is that society's role? Is that the role of, I learned about the Pythagorean theorem in school, and now I can come home and my dad can teach me how to change a tire, because that's what we need in life. So I think that it's better for the parents to teach you those sorts of things, especially when it comes to cars.
A lot of time, a lot of kids don't have both parents or have any parents.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, it's more often than not that they do, and that's another thing that I'd push back. Again, I don't want to get too political here.
Again, and that's why I wanted to try and like skim over that part to get to the actual.
No, it's not a one size fits all for sure.
Right.
But I think that there's a role for the parents to play, and that is the essential life role. You don't want the government or the school system telling you how to live your life and all, like, basic like morality and what's a good interest rate to have, or what to look out. Like, I think it'd be good if people were more interested in those things, because right now, I understand if this was the case in the 50s or 60s when the access to information wasn't the same. Like, you had the Dewey Decimal System. Yeah. That was like, you go to the library and like, wow, they're really about learning. They have a ton of books, and that's what they're gonna spend their weekend on. Now you can do a Google search and you can find everything,
like on your phone.
Yeah,
anywhere.
Exactly. You have this,
except for my house. I have no signal.
Well, me neither, because we live in rural Florida and it's just a bunch of cows and horses out here. But you have this thing in your pocket that has the entirety of human knowledge at your fingertips, and you can look up any, look up a video of how to change a tire, and you'll come up with a million videos. So I don't think that that's necessarily an excuse of why didn't, the schools teach us this. I think that the ability for people, or the ability for people to want to find these things out, the curiosity of, let me figure out why a loan, like what a good interest rate is, why how a loan works and how credit works, or how a car works,
Or you wait until it happens to you, and then you're like, I want to fix this. I should learn how, and from that point on,
sure. But hopefully, it doesn't have to be like after the fact,
trial by fire type stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I hope that people have enough foresight. Usually, people don't, especially when they're young. They're like, I'll just. Wow, credit. So I get this for free if I sign up to a credit card, and it's okay. So it's only a percentage now, but then it gets hiked up later on. Oh, I'm not going to worry about later on. I'm just going to do it now.
Yeah.
So
because I want this one thing now, so
I want this one thing now. Yeah. So I get that. But if we bring it back to the original conversation about what makes a car guy or girl.
So barring that, I think that. If you don't have the knowledge of how a car works, you should at least be on that path of learning or wanting to learn. Whereas a lot of people that I've encountered that consider themselves to be car people or gearheads or whatever, they're more just kind of about like the look. They don't really care about improving their skills as a driver. They don't care about learning how to work on their car.
Sure.
And they just kind of just talk out of their bunghole.
Gotcha. Talk out of their O2 sensors. So I get that, but I think that that's doing more harm than good, especially for the community, because those people that, let's say, only like the aesthetic, I can appreciate a piece of art without understanding how it came together.
Sure.
Without understanding how colors work,
and
without understanding how the paintbrush, understanding how much time it took for that to happen.
So I guess maybe I will expound upon that. That like what you like, obviously, like you are who you are. Mm-hmm. Just please, if you're in this one zone, unless you're trying to learn about the other zones, don't go into other zones like you belong, like you're just going to walk in and start talking about motors and turbos and superchargers when you have no idea what you're talking about.
So I'm in the mindset that you fake it to make it, because first of all, people that know, they're gonna call you out pretty quickly. So there's a little factor there of shame, and you'll if people don't call you out right away for not knowing anything, then you will be put on YouTube, and then that will get 1 million views because you have the racer at the meet saying they have a turbo
GTR Mustang.
Yeah, GTR Mustang with a rotary, right? Those are the type of people. By the way, quick aside: have you seen the guy? There's a YouTube video. It's a guy who has a 3000 GT.
Oh yes.
Oh my God! This is
so cringy.
Hilarious video.
It's so.
He was
much
like, yeah,
cringe.
it ran a 10 and a quarter, and then they were like, this isn't a quarter-mile track. It's like a oval track. He's like, yeah, well, we measured it or something. We did it in the parking lot. He's like, what about the parking lot? So the parking lot's not a quarter mile. He's like, yeah, but it was extrapolated and whatever. And like, okay, so you had a 3000 GT VR4. Like, yeah, it was a twin turbo out of a VR4. Like, wait, so it wasn't a VR4? Like, no, it was a front-wheel drive. Like, okay, so you had a front-wheel drive.
He said something about converting it to front-wheel drive or something. Like, none of it made sense.
So he had a friend who also did, like, it was just a
really bad hype man.
Yeah. Oh my God, he knew nothing about it. It was just the best, and it's hilarious because the people taking the video, like, they knew about, like, wait, this math doesn't add up. Like,
yeah.
None of this makes any sense. It's hilarious. You got, like, I'm not sure what it's called. It's 3000 GT Racer or something.
There's also another really good one of a guy over in Daytona filming this guy in a 350Z, and he has like a slap-on fake supercharger, fake bug catcher from like AutoZone with a whole bunch of really terrible like chrome stick-on crap.
Yeah. But the thing is,
and this is like an old dude, like
in his
mid-50s.
But it's only going to be old dudes. It's only going to be old people that do that stuff.
But he was talking about cars like he knew what he was talking about. And
sure. I mean, okay. Here's the thing. I've heard Nissan dealers, people that work at sales at Nissan, refer to the 350Z's engine as a 306.
Oh yeah. I mean, car
Like,
salespeople.
oh yeah, this got the 306. It made 306 horsepower or something, right?
Yeah. So
It's got the 306 in it. I'm like,
so car salespeople, like you guaranteed, you walk into a delership and someone's going to try and sell you a car. They know literally nothing about the car. That is a guarantee. It's like when Ron Swanson goes to the home improvement store in Parks and Rec, and one of the guys like walks up. He's like, "Hey, how can I help you today?" And he just looks him dead in the face and he goes, "I know more than you."
it's like going to AutoZone and you just take the mouse and keyboard and flip the monitor around. I got this. Don't worry.
Is that a 2-door or a 4-door? It doesn't matter. It's the same motor. I just need the part.
Yeah.
Like
I'm looking for a torque wrench. It's not a dealer only part.
Yeah.
So no, I totally get that. I tend to think that maybe I'm restating the obvious or beating a dead horse, but when people want to engage with something, when they're not, like, if they feel unwelcome to something, they're less likely to engage in it. Now, I don't think that people should be coddled. If you have bad opinions, then you probably should be scolded. No, if you don't know about things, you probably shouldn't talk about things, if you don't know about them. But if you're willing to learn, there's a lot of people that don't know about cars, but they're interested in them. They're like,
sure,
they're car curious.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's like me with like food that I've never tried.
Right.
Like I'm not going to sit around and talk about like Vietnamese delicacies or but I'm like, oh, that's really cool. I want to put that in my mouth.
Right.
Like I want to try that, whatever that is. It looks really cool.
Right, but there are people who say, "Oh, you can't be a foodie unless you've been to all the continents or something like that."
Yeah, or like you can't be into beer unless you've had so many certain types of beer and you've been to such and such a brewery and you know how to do the blah 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 blah. Like
exactly, and I think the same thing with cars. It's like what Rob Ferretti said was
it's spaghetti. Please pronounce it correctly.
What Rob Pastrami said is that you have to have these things, which sounded arbitrary to me. It was completely like, well, you need to know how to change a tire or something like that. Like you need to know how like a car basically works. But so what? I mean that doesn't mean anything. Like you can be a car enthusiast. Like I can be a music enthusiast. Like I love music. I love the way it makes me feel. But I can know nothing about notes. I can know nothing about theory. I can know nothing about guitars or whatever.
That's literally my dad.
Right.
He is so into music and the people and the stories behind the songs and the record labels and there's not a musical bone in that man's body. But
exactly.
I have never met anyone that knows more about the history of American music than my dad.
Right. So
like he could have his own TV channel.
Yes. So, but your dad would be considered a music enthusiast, correct?
Sure.
Exactly. But you don't have to have a technical knowledge. You don't have to have. Other people would say, "Oh, he can't play an instrument. He doesn't know what this is. He doesn't know what the scales are, the chords are, or whatever."
Right.
And I don't think that matters. I don't think it matters if you know what the difference between a Lamborghini Aventador Roadster is versus the SVJ or whatever. Oh, this has a 6.5 liter. This has 6.0. Like, you don't need to know any of that. I think that if you like cars, if you enjoy them, it can be for different reasons. It can be for the sounds they make. It could be for how they look. It could be for the speed. It could be for, you had a good experience in a car when you were a kid. Whatever. I think that makes you a car person. Maybe not as big as a car person as, the person that lives and breathes cars, but it's just, it's a spectrum, it's different degrees.
Sure.
But
it all falls under
the same thing, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's what makes a car person, just liking cars.
Absolutely.
And that's how you get more people in. If you go like, well, you need to have this, have a working knowledge of blah, blah, blah. And
what's like the guys on top here, like, you're not a true petrol head until you've owned an Alfa Romeo.
Until you own an Alfa Romeo. But the thing is, the Alfa Romeo kind of forces you into being a car guy because you need
you ain't going to get home unless you know how to fix that thing.
No, yeah. I mean, there's going to be oil stains in your driveway. You're gonna have to fix it.
You're going to smell like gas.
All right, so that was actually I like that discussion.
Please continue to the discussion in the comments. By the way, like we want to hear what you guys have to say. Do you agree? Do you disagree? I'll try and get in there and that's me typing.
Okay. So while Andrew I will. Well, actually, you can email us at iWrenchEveryday and let us know. But I wanted to talk about a few. Well, before we end, I think we can kind of squeeze this one in. So there are some features of cars that the rest of the world got that we never got here in America.
Okay.
And it makes me angry.
Sure.
Because, well, they're cool. They're so cool. And I don't know. I don't understand. Maybe it's the DOT thing. Maybe it's, Department of Transportation. Maybe it's emissions things. But for some reason, we didn't get a lot of cool stuff. So can you think of any, the cool things, maybe features or something on cars that maybe we have over here, or just features that we don't get here? I'll start it off. The rear windshield wiper
on every sedan in Japan.
On every car. It's in Japan, it's basically standard on most cars to have a rear windshield wiper. And then I'm thinking about it because you only see rear windshield wipers on SUVs and
hatchbacks.
Hatchbacks and vans, right?
Sure. Yeah.
And I'm thinking about wait, why wouldn't every car have one? Because you have it on the front windshield, and the rear glass gets pretty wet too. Why wouldn't you have that? And I'm thinking there really is no good reason. So
maybe it's a safety thing. Who knows?
But what safety thing could there be?
I don't know. But just don't question it. Just let it happen.
But it doesn't make sense because they have it on vans and SUVs and hatchbacks.
Well, yeah, but
how unsafe could they be?
Those I don't know. Those are almost fully vertical rear glass, which doesn't get any air. Whereas in a sedan, the air flows over the roof and then down the back of the car. Whereas I can attest, almost every car that I've owned has been a hatchback or a wagon of some shape or size.
So you're thinking it's an aerodynamic thing? There's not.
No, just hear me out. Yeah, it is an aerodynamic thing because when you have a flat bottom girl like that, the stuff doesn't get blown off the back of the car. It sticks. It sticks to the back of the car because there's no airflow to move stuff off of the car.
Right, but you're always going to have an area of low pressure when you have a swoop like this, unless it's a real gradual curve.
Yeah.
Again, neither of us are physicists. I'm talking about. Well, when I took my car into the wind.
At a drag coefficient of negative 0.39.
That's actually a really good drag coefficient.
Yeah, I know. And I have managed to, by removing the rear windscreen wiper, I managed to increase it by 0.03 coefficients.
Thank you, Dr. Finn. Thank you, Dr. Gergens, rather. Dr. Gergens, PhD.
The Gerg. You're listening to Freddie and the Gerg.
That's great.
Oh man,
he has a very eclectic career. He's a physicist and also a radio
radio DJ.
He's also a recovering alcoholic and also a rally instructor. So so he did a lot. So rear windshield wipers. There's a few other things. I mean. Have you seen that the Del Sol with the cartridge style?
Yes.
That is so awesome. But why didn't we get that? Why didn't we get
Probably some stupid safety thing again.
All right. So for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, there's the Honda Del Sol mid '90s, the Targa Top Civic basically. It had an option that was Japan only, and it was
rare.
And it was rare there. Super rare. And it had a automated top that would come out like what's basically like an NES cartridge or something.
Yeah.
So the trunk would come up. It was all motorized. Trunk would come up, and then the top would recess into the trunk, and the trunk would come down.
Yeah.
That was magic.
Yes.
That was magic. I don't know why. Apparently, people thought that they wouldn't like it here.
Japan's just so far ahead of us, man. They had video calling, I think, in the late '90s, early 2000s.
Right. That's true. I remember well, video calling is the wave of the future. And like, how many calls do you have now? Like, you have the capability of video calling. Like, do you do it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you do it?
Yeah. Ask my girlfriend. She hates it.
I feel like it's so inconvenient.
I think it's
I
more
mean,
engaging.
FaceTime is a thing, right?
Yeah.
That's what FaceTime is. But
Or just video calling if you're Android. Which I am now. I made the switch.
You're actually Andrew, but
I have an uncle that calls me Android, actually. True story. Ever since I was a kid.
that's actually not bad.
I know, it's super dope. He's one of my favorite. I mean, I can't play favorites. He's one of my uncles.
Like, hey, Android, what's up? I'm Apple now. Call me Mac. No? Okay.
Big Mac.
Yeah. I mean, do you have anything that we didn't get?
It's not something that we didn't get. It's not something that we get as often over here. Mm-hmm. It's windshield wipers for your headlights.
Okay, so
and like spray nozzles for your headlights. I know that some cars do have them here.
So,
but I feel like more cars have them elsewhere.
So the spray nozzles thing, isn't that pretty standard? Well, standard on the cars I get.
Well, yeah, but I've never owned like a luxury car before.
I think the windshield wipers on the headlights went out in the 90s just because you're adding so much complexity to a system.
It's also dangerous to pedestrians that you hit.
See, that's
also
you know
why we got rid
so
of.
Many people are talking about pedestrian safety and like, listen, I don't drive a Mustang, okay? So pedestrian safety is not my concern.
I thought I got a lot of hate for the stance thing. Now you're going to
I mean,
the Mustang drivers.
That's a car that you need to worry about pedestrian safety. Like that's
true.
That's like the number one priority. Number one priority is pedestrian safety, and number two is gas mileage, right? Number three is number four is gas mileage. Number two is going to be the rumble and from the glass packs or something, and number three is I don't know getting a nice mullet. Who knows? But with a Mustang, you probably need to worry about the pedestrian safety. On my cars, I don't really care. Like on a Lamborghini, it's low enough that I'll take out somebody's shins real good. They'll roll over. And first of all, I don't plan on hitting anybody. So,
and if you do, and if you're going like 200 miles an hour,
if I'm going 200 miles an hour, like that's
girl, they did. They did.
There's not a lot.
Like you going along at 200 miles. Boom. Oh, he did.
Did you guys feel that? No, I am not making light of vehicular manslaughter. That is not what we're trying to do with this show.
I am.
Yeah. Well, honestly, I mean, if somebody like Group B rally or something, I want to get this awesome shot. Like, dude, get out of the way. No, actually, somebody did say in a Twitter comment or YouTube comment, they were like, you need to worry about pedestrian safety because I had this picture of a Photoshop that I did of the rear end of my car, like what I wanted to do, like upgraded headlight, upgraded taillights, upgraded bumper, and like an open concept
kitchen, living room space,
open concept
with lots of tile and hardwood floors.
Well, you want an island because you want to entertain.
Yeah, and
you're an entertainer.
You want to make the space warm and inviting.
Right, yes. Right. For your guests that you're going to entertain. Mm-hmm. Entertainer. That's what every time they say I'm gonna like any HGTV show, like, this is where we're gonna entertain, and I'm like thinking they're gonna come out in clown outfits with a unicycle.
This will be the space where I show my friends all of these wonderful finger snapping ragtime dandies.
Is this your card? Whoa! Just a montage, and that's in a thought bubble. Like, this is gonna be awesome.
Because it's just everyone's sitting on the couch doing nothing, staring straight forward.
And like they're on their phones.
No. They're just staring straight forward. There's like their record player off in the distance.
The war is over. Okay.
Oh my! Look at the time.
About time to hit that old dusty trail. Yeah. So what was it? What was I talking about? I don't know. We just got right off topic.
Did cars elsewhere ever come with like two-step or anti-lag from the factory?
Well, I don't know.
Me either.
I don't think so. I feel like there was a ProDrive. It's called a ProDrive P2,
yes.
which was made by the company that makes like rally cars.
Yes.
and it was made off a chassis that was, I think it was a Subaru WRX.
Most likely.
Actually, no, it was some economy car, and they modified it with like WRX parts, STI parts, or something. And it was awesome. They had a Top Gear episode on it a million years ago.
I think it was actually called the ProDrift P1.
It might be the P1, it might be the P2. We can see. We will see. And Andrew is gonna show you what that looks like because he did not show you last week. Even though we said we would.
Yep.
And it's a ProDrive P2. So yeah. So
it's a pizza.
ProDrive P2, and we will put a little snippet of it right here, right where my hand is.
No, I'm gonna put it over here.
Okay. Well, he's not gonna forget because I'm going to write it in big fat letters on his face. So yeah, the ProDrive P2. There might have been a ProDrive P1. This might be Electric Boogaloo. Okay, this might be the second coming, but that definitely had anti-lag. But that was not a factory car. It was like a one-off.
What about the? Oh, did we get the Ford? We didn't get the Ford RS 200 here in the States, did we? Originally, we have them here now. They've been imported under the 25-year law.
No. So Ken Block has one.
Yeah,
Ken Block has like one or two, or who knows.
I think he has one. Tim Allen has one also, or had one. I don't know if he still has it, but
okay,
he did at one point have an RS 200.
Okay, he probably, who knows? He probably still has it. That's a cool car guy.
Yes.
I don't think you could put anti-lag on a car that needs to pass emissions and stuff. That isn't like a homologation race car.
What about the?
Well, wouldn't your car technically, like the SRT 4s and Ford Focuses and whatever, when they backfire, isn't that's not really anti-lag?
That's just advanced exhaust timing. Okay. That's all that is. I'm just destroying my my EGTs. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do your catalytic converters die faster from that?
What catalytic converters?
It's a good question. I don't know why I asked that.
Yeah.
I was assuming that I would get a response, and then I just.
I think they do. Actually, the only time that this has ever happened to me is when I had my RX-7, and those naturally just run pig rich.
Well, it's a that's another way to do it. Just dump fuel out of the exhaust.
And I actually,
you literally could put a bucket right out of your exhaust and I'm just going to collect the fuel and put it right back in my tank.
Yeah. I was driving to work one day in Jacksonville and I actually blew out a cat.
Whoa.
Yeah. Like legit, like garbage coming out of the back of my exhaust. It was, it was epic. And then I just straight piped it because that's what you do.
Well, actually, I mean, I remember when I got my RX-7 FD, I think the cat was just so gunked up with garbage that I was running it, and I'm like, this car is running like crap. Like this, it doesn't want to rev, nothing.
Normally, I'm all about being kind to animals, but in this case, kill the cat.
Yeah, but I looked underneath the car, and it was glowing red.
Nice.
Like the cat was glowing. I'm like, whoa, okay, let me turn this off.
Hot katsu.
Yeah, so I figured it was probably running a little rich. Little bit.
It's a rotary. People don't think it'd be like it is, but it do.
I still don't understand why that happened because I turned it on later on and it was fine. I'm like, I guess it just was having a bad day. Like I don't know what happened. That's just rotary life.
Yep.
Okay, so I think that's gonna be it for today. We can answer more questions in the next podcast, and that's gonna be coming up tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yeah. So if you'd like to answer, we're going to be answering. If you'd like to ask us questions, you can do so at iWrenchEveryday@gmail.com. That's our email. And you can reach us at Instagram and Twitter at WrenchEveryday. And we are also, what?
We got to step up our social media game somehow. It's not very active.
We get, yeah.
I think we have like 50 followers on each.
Really?
Yeah.
That's more than I thought. Oh. You 50. That's 50 is good. 50 is good. 50 is better than 0. So, yeah, follow us there. We're going to start posting stuff. We're going to start doing live streams or maybe like just on our personal stuff because we probably have more people on our live streams.
Plus, if I stream on my personal stuff, my mom can join too.
That's right.
Hi, Mom.
So, we also want to see what you guys are working on. Maybe send us your cars and...
I did have someone send me a picture of their toilet. On Instagram. Someone did that.
Don't do that.
You know what? Next time, send Freddie a picture of your toilet.
No.
You better send him a picture of your toilet.
Okay, all right. You can reach me at The Real Tavarish. That's Instagram and Twitter and Facebook.com/AskTavarish. Andrew, where can they find you?
I can be found on Instagram at HeavyMetalFL or on Twitter at 1565. That's the word 15 and the number 65.
That is absolutely perfect. I love how you delivered that. Now do it in Spanish.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor.
Yeah, okay.
I forgot how to say that.
Cut. All right. So this is me, Tavarish, for Andrew Howell, reminding you guys to wrench every day and take drinks at the best possible time.